Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Sri Sri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. But not right now. So we're reading this transcendental literature, Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta today. Interesting enough, the topic is just continuation to our meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord. I thought it's going to be Caitanya-caritāmṛta, but it's a philosophical point and actually just goes further with the same topic. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and at the same time we are continuing our meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord. Because as we will see here for these verses, we'll read verses 16, 17, 16, 17, and 18, because 16 and 17 has no purport, and 18 verse of the 18 is very much appropriate to the meditation topic. So I will just read, or we'll read together. I think I will just read myself because it's 8 o'clock. Se harahu vrajayabe Krishna avatara Tandra charitra vicharite manana paya para. Apart from all argument, logic, and negative or positive process, when Lord Shri Krishna was present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead at Vrindavan, no one could find a limit to his potencies by studying his characteristics and activities. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami here makes this very, very important point, that when Krishna was present, just present on this earth, nobody could find the limit of his potencies. And, it's not like Krishna was walking around and we have to guess these potencies. He actually displayed them. We are speaking for the last, 6, 7 days, morning and evening, about different pastimes of the Lord, but not pastimes, his form. What is the power of the transcendental form of the Lord? And when devotees are absorbed actually in the form of the Lord, meditating on this particular form, the result is the ultimate end. They become liberated. So therefore, we should always meditate on the transcendental form of the Lord. And he spoke that coming to the temple and seeing the Lord, Srila Prabhupada explained, is not different than seeing Krishna in person. But when we leave the temple, then we don't see Krishna anymore. So therefore, it is advised to always meditate on the Lord, So that we can see Krishna in the temple and outside of the temple, always. Because at the time of our death, when we leave our body, it is very advisable to think of the form of the Lord. If we think of some other form, we may become this form. And this is not good. Because that means continuation to live in this material existence. And why would we do that? If we have sufficient knowledge, nobody wants to stay in the material world. If you don't have knowledge, then you think the material world is great, and therefore it makes sense to continue living in the world. But if you do have knowledge, then you wonder, what am I doing here? I'm in the wrong place. So this is the background of this. So verse 17, it says, at Vrindavan, the Lord immediately created all material and spiritual planets in one moment. So this is already specific now. Indeed, all of them were created with their predominating deities. So Krishna and Vrindavan created all the planets. We're speaking about different Vishnu forms, Vishnu avatars, the 6 different avatars. And Krishna created all this, but not just the planets, but with their own, not just forms, but in their own natural environment, spiritual planets, as Prabhupada called them, planets. We call, in Sanskrit it's called Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, but Prabhupada called it planet. Also maybe for us to understand easier. We live on the planet Earth. So, and this text 18, translation, we do not hear of such wonderful things anywhere else. Simply by one's hearing of those incidents, one's consciousness is agitated and cleansed. So agitated means we become disturbed. But agitated means that some certain emotions will invoke in us. When we have ecstatic kirtan, devotees are dancing, jumping. Why are we jumping? This is called agitation. It's a spiritual agitation. Our senses, our emotions become moved by the presence of Krishna in the form of the holy name, and therefore we feel, as we call it in ISKCON, ecstatic. Or this devotee cooked very ecstatic prasadam. So we eat and we start laughing uncontrollably because the prasadam is very tasty. Sometimes every cook can measure what kind of prasadam you cooked. After eating, the devotee start laughing, and sometimes tears come in, laughing. That's a very good prasadam. Good, that's a proof that you made a good prasadam. Sometimes, after the Sunday feast, the devotees eat so much and they start laughing, you can see uncontrollably, then feast was very, very good. So, consciousness become agitated and cleansed at the same time. So this is the power of the association of Krishna and Krishna consciousness, that we get, as they call it, the philosophers call it negative freedom and positive freedom. There's one particular philosopher, German philosopher, Martin Heidegger, he wrote about this. The negative freedom means I want to be free from something. The communism is, we want to be free from the capitalists who are exploiting us. Famous Marx, unite the proletariat of the world, against the tyrants who are actually exploiting you. So this is the negative freedom. We want to be freed from something. But we also want to be freed from the material world. Moksha. We have so many, material world is so and such, different gunas, and we do not belong to this material world. I want to be free from the material world. And this is also negative freedom. But positive freedom is, okay, I want to be negative, but what do I want to achieve with my freedom? And this is engagement in Krishna consciousness. We were discussing the other day how in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, when Gopakumar went to the Vaikuntha Lokas, he realized all these people were free to do whatever they want. Imagine this. You can do anything you want, anything. Anything comes to your mind. We usually type in Google, anything comes to our mind, but anything comes to your mind. You can fly, you can change your body, you can do anything, you can live any place, you can do anything you want. This is the absolute freedom. And what do they decide? They decide to take the form of a boar in the Vaikuntha Loka because their worshipable deity is Varahadev. And they also take the form of a boar. They could take any form, but they chose this one. Because this is what is their bhava, their emotion in relationship to Vishnu. So, of course, this is much more complex topic, which we will not discuss now, but the point is that the absolute freedom. So, but Krishna, although we have an absolute freedom, and as devotee who is liberated, also it is described that devotee also gets all kinds of mystic powers, and in a sense is a minute Krishna. Minute means tiny Krishna. As Prabhupada says, we are like drops of the ocean, and Krishna is ocean. Ocean is water, and drop is also water, so it's the same, but at the same time Krishna is ocean, and we are drops. So this is the difference. And devotees is described also, that devotees have many, many similar powers to Krishna. They can expand. Madhya Shoda, every time Krishna incarnates, Madhya Shoda can also, and Nanda incarnate with Krishna. So here, this is one such, but actually the point here is that Krishna is the master of all mystic powers, Yogeshvara. Krishna is the form of all forms, and Krishna is the origin of everything. And Krishna is the controller of everything. So everything comes from Krishna. So we should, as devotees of Krishna, understand that Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Pranada. Krishna is everything to us. Krishna is mother, Krishna is father, Krishna is our prana. Without prana, we cannot live. How long can we live without air? 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe. I don't know. Who can? Maybe somebody has a bigger lungs, but not more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So Krishna is this prana without which we cannot live. So here's the purport, very interesting purport here by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace. When Lord Krishna was present in the earthly Vrindavan, Lord Brahma, taking him to be an ordinary cowherd boy, wanted to test his potency. Therefore, Lord Brahma stole all the calves and cowherd boys from Krishna and hid them by his illusory energy. When Krishna saw that Brahma had stolen his calves and cowherd boys, he immediately created many material and spiritual planets in Lord Brahma's presence. Within a moment, cowherd boys, calves, and unlimited Vaikunthas, all expansions of the Lord's spiritual energy, were manifest. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavithabhi. Not only did Krishna create all the paraphernalia of his spiritual energy, but he also created unlimited material universes with unlimited Brahmas. All these pastimes, which are described in Srimad Bhagavatam, will cleanse one's consciousness. In this way, one can understand the absolute truth. So Krishna is an amazing personality. We have an amazing God. We are worshipping amazing Master. Prabhupada says, devotees are never proud. Prabhupada called this puffed up. This is the Prabhupada's terminology, which is very, very funny. When you make puri puffs up, And you imagine somebody's ego like this, When you put puri in a hot ghee, it just becomes from normal flat, piece of flour, it just puffs up like this. And sometimes breaks and this air little comes out of puri. And every time I see somebody, or I think of myself as puffed up, I see this is little air coming on me like, I am such a person. I am such a puffed up, puri-like person. So there is no need to be puffed up, puri-like person. Prabhupada says, but the only way devotee is allowed to be proud is to be proud of the master he is worshipping. So we are always proud of Krishna. We are proud of Srila Prabhupada. We are very proud. But we are not proud of, Whenever you are proud a little bit and somebody tells you, Prabhu, you're puffed up, just remember the puri. How this air comes out of your ear. of your ear, how, your greatness, how great you are, personality. Anyways, why I thought there was a very, like an end of this, although I didn't plan this, but Krishna arranged it, which is also proof that Krishna involved his fingers in everything, that this actually could be a perfect conclusion of the whole last whatever week of meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord, because this form of the Lord is very, very unusual. And why is it unusual? Because Krishna creates this form on the spot. We have incarnations of Krishna which are eternal. Lila avatars, Kurma, Varaha, fish avatar, Matsya. These are eternal forms. They don't appear and disappear, But this form is like created on the spot. This is you can say, impromptu transcendental form. You know what impromptu means? Immediate, like right now. Like improvised. Sometimes, you're doing something and, you don't have anything on, and then you just, okay, I'll put, instead of leg, I put a stone. Instead of, the leg on the table is broken and you just put a stone, and this is like improvised. So Krishna improvised this incarnation on the spot, which is like an amazing thing. Not pre-planned, not premeditated, improvised. And what happened is the follows. Once upon a time, as the story begins, Lord Krishna, after killing Aghasura, big demon, Lord Krishna took his boys and he said, okay, this is too much endeavor, and, because, as we know, the Aghasura, the cowherd boys entered into the mouth and wasn't a little bit clean, going inside or whatever. But they said that before they entered, the cowherd boys hung their food bags on the trees, because, it's a very important part of the life of every cowherd boy, food. So they hung their food bags on the trees, and they went there, then the whole thing was finished. Krishna killed Aghasura. So Krishna said, okay, this is enough of in disturbance. Let's eat something. This is now, it's time to eat, for eating. We know there's the whole preparation. How do you prepare lunch bag for Krishna, cooking for Krishna? And after this, Madhya showed that they make sure the boys are not hungry. After the huge breakfast, this whole lunch bag is a very, very important part of every cowherd boy. So Krishna said, now no more disturbance. This is a nice place. They found a very, very nice place. There's some river there. There's some beautiful grass, sand. And Krishna says, this is a very good spot. The grass is good for the cows. Let the cows graze, and we should do something now very important, eating. So the boys all sat there. And this is Vishwanath. There's a Krishna is glorifying this place, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments this is a glorification of a suitable place for picnic. So this verse is a glorification of a suitable place for picnic. So this is also important. In Krishna Lila, everything is important. Where is Krishna eating is an important place. Suitable, has to be suitable. Atmosphere has to be pleasing, the flowers blooming, everything has to be nice. The humming and chirping of the bees has to be there. Everything is nice. A river floating very nicely. So, we can also, from this, we can conclude what Krishna likes. Krishna likes this forest, natural forest atmosphere. Jaya Nrsimhadev ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. This is what Krishna likes, the forest atmosphere. Prabhupada wanted devotees for preaching to go to the busiest streets in the city. Because he said, when Prabhupada says, somebody complained to Prabhupada, this temple is too much noise from the traffic. Prabhupada said, very good. That's a proof that you have a good location. Because that means it's good for preaching. You can bring people. But for us, for living, Prabhupada wanted us to live in the countryside. Prabhupada wanted farm communities to open, to live, devotees to live, to grow their own food, to grow their own herbs, vegetables, and not to be dependent upon the materialist, food and other living arrangements from them. Prabhupada wanted to be independent. Because Krishna is independent. And while doing this, we naturally remember Krishna. By living in the forest, we remember Krishna, because Krishna is living in the forest. In the morning, when the breakfast, now after the lecture, we'll think, my wife will ask me, should we eat inside or should we eat outside? I say, let's eat outside, so we sit outside, almost by the river, The bees are there, everything is there. And you say, oh, this is like Krishna. So you remember Krishna while eating. It's very nice. Also, Krishna is eating very nice food. So, this is an interesting thing. The boys, they let the cows go, of course. And this is the very famous verse, and this actual verse is painted. This description of this verse is painted in some books of Prabhupada. And in Mayapur, if anybody knows the old place where we were eating prasadam, I forgot this name now. The old building. Huh? No, this was before Gada Bhavan. There was a building there where the workers eat, in this other place there. Yes, next to Prabhupada Samadhi. And in this place, on the wall, there's a big picture of this verse. And when you eat, you remember Krishna eating. And this is the verse here. Like the whirl of a lotus flower surrounded by its petals and leaves, Krishna sat in the center, encircled by lines of his friends, who all looked very beautiful. So Krishna sat in the middle, and all these boys are surrounding him. Every one of them was trying to look forward towards Krishna, thinking Krishna might look toward him. In this way, they all enjoyed their lunch in the forest. So the picture is that Krishna is sitting in the middle, and everybody surrounded Krishna. And it is described by the various acharyas that even, because there's so many boys, even if somebody could not face Krishna directly, they felt that Krishna is looking directly at them. So this is very nice for us as devotees, because sometimes we may wonder, if I go back to the spiritual world, who am I? I'm not, huge Paramahamsa. When I go there will be a huge line to see Krishna. And there will be millions of gopis inscribed, and I'm just standing there, and you see some little points in the dark and white point in the distance, kilometers away. But this is not so. This is actually very encouraging that Krishna will have time for us all the time. By Krishna, when we turn towards Krishna, Krishna will see us, and Krishna will be in our presence all the time. This is very, very nice. Krishna is very, very nice. You don't need to, wonder, in material world, you always have to be, like nowadays, trains, if you're in Germany, or India particularly, if you're from Mumbai, I don't know where you're from, but to go to a train is like, it's a battle. To get out of the train is even bigger battle. You have to position yourself. If you finally enter the train, if you can, enter the full train, somehow elbow yourself, get inside, but then you have to position yourself. After 4 stations, I'm getting out. So you have to somehow know where to stand. So because otherwise, if the station comes, you cannot get out. You just cannot get out. So it's a material world. And Krishna is the other way around. Krishna has time for us all the time, and he can be always available. We don't need to elbow ourselves to see Krishna, be with Krishna. Very nice description now is how the cowherd boys are eating. This is very, as we say, cute, The cowherd boys, they all have their lunch bags, and how do they eat? They don't have metal plates like we have, metal plates and spoons, and they just have a lunch bag. So this is what they use as plate, a flour. They use flour as a plate. They put on a flour and then eat from flour. Some of them, they use leaves. Some of them, they put it on fruit. Some of them, they put bunch of leaves. Like in India, there's a famous plates of bunch of leaves, and they stick it, and they keep it together. Some of them put on the bark of the trees. This is their plate. And some of them put on the rocks. So they use these wonderful, wonderful plates, so they eat, which is very, very nice, meaning that they're satisfied with very, very little and very simple living, because Vrindavan is a very, very simple living. Okay, so then what would they do? The boys will exchange the food. They said, look, taste this. This is very nice. And the other boy said, wow, look at my mother cooked this really nice. And give it to other boy. Another boy is tasting, another boy is tasting. And one boy, what did he do? He took the jasmine flower and put in his vada. And jasmine flower is bitter. He said, oh, Prabhu, try my vada, it's very tasty. And this other Prabhu tried, and oh, so bitter. Everybody's laughing. Ha, ha, ha. I tricked you. That is very nice, very sweet relationship. And they even give the food to Krishna. Krishna give to them in exchange, like this. That's wonderful, wonderful relationships. So meanwhile, while they were eating like this, so the demigods, they're like looking from above. Like in theaters you have this upper part for the rich people. They sit there and, like with this monocle, and they said, what's going on down there? This is supposed to be God. And Krishna, in his left hand, not Vedic, keeping little rice and curd, yogurt, and eating. The demigods like, what is going on here? Is this God here? So they were a little bit surprised. Because we expect from God to be, omnipresent. Om Vishnu Paramam Padam, big, supreme personality arising, on a Garuda carrier, and all the sages offering prayers, and he's giving blessings, and everybody's falling down. We expect supreme personality of God. But here we have a small boy who's eating in his left hand rice and the curd, yogurt. And everybody's wondering, is this, a little bit surprised, you can say. Demigods a little bit surprised. So the most surprised was Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma, as we also learned the other days, Lord Brahma is the creator of the universe. He knows everything what's going on. So he's thinking, is this really Supreme Personality of Godhead? If he is, let him show his power. Sometimes, as we saw in the pastimes of Varahadev, the Hiranyaksha was fighting everybody, and he was really eager to fight. And then he went to Varuna, and he said, please give me your fight. Varuna said, I'm very old, I cannot fight. But you can go fight Vishnu, I can tell you where to go. So then he found Varahadev, and of course he got killed by Varahadev. But the point is that we sometimes think we want to test somebody's power, Are you sure? Because you want to actually show your power, and you see if it's matching my power. Of course, we know also Lord Brahma was our Acharya ultimately. He's not an ordinary person. He's the father of the universe, unborn, born from the navel of Lord Vishnu. So he's an extraordinary personality. And he also showed by this pastime, it's called Brahma Vimohana Lila, that the Brahma, Mohan is bewilderment, Madan Mohan. We have deities in Vrindavan, Radha Madan Mohan. But Vimohan means great bewilderment. Because Krishna doesn't bewilder you normally. He bewilders you in an amazing, in a grand style. So Brahma actually, by Brahma's mercy, we could have actually experienced this Lila. In some sampradayas, like Madhya Sampradaya in South India, they are avoiding this Lila. They don't accept this Lila in Srimad Bhagavatam. Somehow or other, they think this Lila is added because they don't want to, it's a Brahma Gaudiya, Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, So you don't want to think about your Acharya that he is bewildered, he does not know Krishna. But from our side, we are actually grateful to Lord Brahma that Krishna showed this amazing power and amazing forms. And also, Brahma, out of his love for Krishna, actually wanted Krishna to show how powerful he is. Because ultimately, this is one of the, duties of Acharya to to show that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada always said, I'm not God, Krishna is God. Don't worship me as God, worship me as a representative of God, but Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the duty of every Acharya. So Lord Brahma actually showed this in person. So what happened? They were eating this wonderful lunch together, the boys, and the cows, somehow, we see these cows here loitering, our cows, also cows from Bauweiss. A little bit there, they're a little bit there, then the grass is better there somehow. They have their own logic. Cows have their own logic, and it's all based on grass. That's it. Cow means grass and water. That's it. So their logic was, oh, this grass is better there. Let's go there. So the cows went there, and then the boys started eating. They realized, oh, where are the cows? And the boys start having anxiety. Why? Because they're dutiful. They're not like thinking, oh, I don't care. I just play. I don't care about cows. As some boys can be experiencing this in the material world, because we are taught not to be dutiful. We are taught not to take responsibility for anything. Just play. I can testify. Until I went to the school, I just did pure playing. Nothing. I did nothing. And later on, I also did nothing. I was just always saying, poor my mother, she's, left the body. Even when I was teenager, 17, 18, I go to the room and my t-shirt is old, 3 days wearing it, unclean. I just throw it on the ground. My mother comes, like a pickup services, enter the room, take all the stuff from the room which is not clean the room, vacuums, wash it, come back, everything folded, ironed, and I'm eating food, I leave it on the plate, on the table, Haribol, mother will wash. It's horrible, it's lazy. But then when I joined the Hare Krishna movement, I got my purification, because I have to do... Because we are trained not to be dutiful. We are trained not to take responsibility for our action, or don't appreciate the others. Nowadays, to see old men, you think like, there's some old men. What do they know? They're old. What do they know? We are the young, But in the old days, if you go even now to India, actually, I was once recently with this Aral. There's a village like halfway from Vrindavan to Radhakund, village called Aral. And sometimes at that time rickshaw was stopping. And then morning, I came really early in the morning, there was an older man, walking, going to buy something. And whoever saw him, at least 7, 8 people, they came and they touched his feet. Not like us, dandavats, but they touched his feet here under the knees. I was thinking, wow, such a nice culture, actually. And he's obviously an older man. He's not a guru or anything, but he's just an older person, and people respect older person. Just the fact that you survive 80 years in this earth deserves respect. We saw yesterday the man, 78 years old, 87 years old, biking and swimming. Shocked. I said, yeah, I'm doing this like 87. This is before the Second World War. He was alive. So just that requires respect. He made it all these years. Anyways, to come back to the story. So the cows left and Krishna says, don't worry, don't have a fear. I will go to catch you just eat. This is very important. Food, don't disturb eating. I'm going to catch the cows and I'll come back. So Krishna went around and the boys were eating. So basically, this is another small point that I want to make. With Krishna, Krishna wanted to one more time to assure us, when we are with Krishna, we have nothing to fear. Sometimes they have sticker, no fear, Krishna's here. No fear. When Krishna is with us, we have no fear. If something happens to us, we know it's Krishna. So we have no fear. The reason why people are afraid, you're afraid to go to the dark basement. Why? Because first of all, as young, we watch the horror movies, which is bad. Second of all, we don't know what's going on in the basement. It's uncertainty. But if you go to the basement, we know Krishna is in the basement, so there's nothing to be uncertain. If you go to the light, Krishna is light. Krishna is everywhere. So devotees are no fear. So Krishna wanted to tell this. So Krishna, very interesting detail here, given by the acharyas. The Krishna left the boys and he was going to look for the cows, but in his hands he carried rice. Because he thought, I'm going to get hungry on the way, so get some. In his hands he was holding rice. Because, you may take time to find a cow, so I may eat something. So he was doing this, he said, holding a lamp in his hand. He started looking for the calves. So the Brahma, who actually wanted to show his own powers, he thought, I will steal these boys now, and I will steal all these calves. And let's see what is Krishna going to do. If he is actually really the Supreme Lord, he will show his amazing powers. So he did this. He stole it. The only problem is that he didn't steal them. First of all, nothing can be done without the sanction of the Lord. So Krishna actually indirectly arranged this whole situation. Meaning that he bewildered Brahma to think that he is stealing the boys. Because nobody can actually bewilder, first of all, Krishna. Second of all, nobody can bewilder a pure devotee of Krishna. Material energy cannot bewilder the pure devotees of Krishna. So how can you bewilder the cowherd boys? So Krishna had to bewilder Brahma to think that he bewildered the boys, and he has to bewilder the boys by his own mystic power so that they think they are bewildered by Brahma. So Krishna did all these things while holding rice in his hands. So Krishna then, so Brahma thought, I stole the calves and stole the boys. So Krishna pretended he was looking around, he couldn't find them. So this was the Krishna's, sometimes they said, even Queen Kunti, you are like a stage actor. Krishna is like a stage actor, he's acting. What happened? Where are the boys? I could not find them. Some people are not so good actors, some people are very good actors, and Krishna is the best actor. So Krishna came and couldn't find them. So he thought, okay, I'll make them again. So this is, as I said, this is the impromptu, direct, on-the-spot incarnation of Krishna. So Krishna incarnate immediately, in the moment, in a second, and he looked exactly like every single boy and like every single calf. And every single boy had the same character, same memory, same history. Imagine this. Just imagine the mystic power of it. Even if he can create something to look like this, nowadays they create the robots to look like men, or women, whatever, or dog. I saw this dog walking. In Japan, people are buying this like hot item. But this dog cannot have the memory as the real dog. Cannot have the intelligence of a real dog, the character of a real dog. Everything like a real child. So Krishna created all these calves, everything, at this in one split of a second, like immediately. And the acharyas described that actually the boys who Brahma stole are not real boys. How can Brahma steal the pure devotees? So Krishna created, just like in the case of Sita Devi, the material forms of the boys. So Brahma, in his illusion, that's why this is a Vimohana Lila. This is in spy movies you have this agent and double agent, triple agent, So this is the triple illusion. Not ordinary illusion, but double illusion, triple illusion. So Brahma was in illusion that he actually stole them, but he stole the material forms of the boys. And what is more, so all these boys became, there. So Krishna went back, they ate nicely, they tended the cows, they went back. So what is interesting in this is that that Krishna, when they went back, one thing I didn't say, that Brahma, the origin of Brahma's idea was that he saw Krishna killing Aghasura, and they said Brahma was bewildered by the childhood pastimes of Krishna. So again, by we speak about, I spoke 2 days, two lectures on baby Krishna, meditation on baby Krishna. Although we think it's very nice, small baby, little teeth coming out, Madhya Yashoda is very pleased, and all the gopis were clapping and very happy. And then Krishna and Balaram start crawling in the yard full of mud. Of course, they said they were dressed in mud. Imagine, no clothes, just dressed in mud. Lots of service from Madhya Yashoda, So it's very cute, but at the same time, Krishna's pastimes are bewildering because these big demons, and Krishna not just only killed them, but he actually gives them liberation. So this is what Brahma saw. Such a small child, baby, or a small child gives liberation to such a demon. This is very bewildering. How is this possible? So childhood pastimes of Krishna bewildering. So Brahma was bewildered, and this is the reason why he wanted to see more of it. We're all curious. So Krishna understood. They said, and one moment Krishna understood. Oh, Brahma told him, as he couldn't understand immediately. What is interesting here, one little philosophical point, that Krishna actually can create himself, or he can expand into any form by interacting with some form in the material world. As we already said before, we have deities of Krishna, can be made of various materials: stone, wood, jewels, what else? Sand, and even mind. Even in our mind, we can create a form of the Lord. So this Prabhupada, interesting, quotes this very nice verse from the 3rd canto, 26th chapter, 45th verse. Odor. Although one becomes many as mixed with offensive, with fragrant, mild, strong, acidic, and so on. So when odor, although it's just an odor, mixes with this, like we smell things. If you go to the bathroom in the wrong time, the smell is different than if you go to the first etage of Galeria Kaufhof. Anybody knows first level of Galeria Kaufhof? Perfumes. They sell perfumes. So you're entering the first, and you just smell so many perfumes. It's a different smell, although the air is the same, the smell is the same. So Prabhupada used this verse to describe how Krishna, although he is one, he becomes many by interaction with different elements, basically, in the material world. So he can be perceived in different ways. As we know, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, Krishna has about shiksha, different shiksha gurus, that Krishna actually can be seen through these seemingly material things, like fish or whatever, bird or different animals. Anyways, so so Lord Brahma was confused with this. He did not know what's going on. So it says here, while Brahma was bewildered by the Lord's energy, he believed that he had bewildered Krishna. Amazing. This is the position in the material world. We are bewildered by Krishna's energy, and we somehow think we are bewildering others. As they said, that fish swimming in the water, and you say, you are surrounded by water. Fish said, no, I don't see any water. So in the material world, we are bewildered ourselves by the material energy, and yet we think we are controllers of the material energy. Once this story, one devotee told me, he was driving, in the old days, Sankirtan, driving van, and somehow they slid off the road and tumbled 2-3 times. It was a snow, luckily. So the bus, the van turned sideways, and he said he was, already finished, and he was sitting still, and he was driving, he was still like, oh, I'm controlling, because this is our nature, how to say, subconsciously, we have this need to control. So the van has already tumbled 2-3 times, and they're sitting sideways, but he's still holding a steering wheel. He will now control the situation. So this is basically the position of everybody in this material world. Bewildered by Maya, but thinking to be the controllers of Maya. So Brahma also. So what Krishna wanted to show with this pastime is the number one, this is very, very big one. The Krishna wanted to show that his power is the greatest. Ekala Ishvara Krishna, Ara Sabha Britya. Everybody is subordinate to Krishna, even Lord Balaram. So this is, Balaram is great personality, and he's actually Krishna himself, no different from Krishna. But Krishna wanted to show that even Balaram can be bewildered by my energy. So because Balaram at that time had birthday, so he didn't come to eat, to tend the cows that day. It's all arranged by Krishna. Balaram was eating nice cakes, whatever, sitting at home. And then when Krishna came back, Balaram did not notice anything for 1 year. Krishna was coming back with the calves and cows and going out. And nobody noticed anything. Nobody. Even Balaram did not notice. After some time, Balaram started thinking, 6 days before 1 year has expired, so almost 1 year, Balaram thought, why do all these calves, why does the cows like this calf so much? I've never seen so much affection. Mothers are very affectionate to their children or boys. Although mothers are always affectionate, the main source or main object of affection was Krishna. But somehow last year, Balaram thought about it. I see that the mothers are very much more affectionate to boys in the same way as they're affectionate to Krishna. What is this? So Balaram was a little bit perplexed. Then Krishna put him aside and he said, what actually happened. So he told him the whole story. And Balaram was like, very nice. So even Balaram, so the first point is Balaram even was confused by Krishna, which is a glorious thing. Again, nothing against Balaram is a Vrajendra Nandana Sutta. Vrajendra Nandana Jay, Sachi Sutta Hoila say, Balaram Hoila Nitai. This is our sun and moon for every devotee. So Balaram, to be confused by Krishna is a glories of Krishna. Then another one, Krishna had a desire Krishna wanted to fulfill the desires of Gopas and Gopis. Because all these gopis, older gopis, who liked Krishna, and they were thinking, I wish Krishna is my son. Although they participate in everything like Madhya Yashoda, but they just wished it's my son. It's different when it's your son. One devotee Indian guest asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, why are you building new temples? There's so many temples in India empty. Take these empty temples. And Prabhupada says, do you have children? And he said, yes. He says, why are you having children? There's so many children loitering around. Take some child. Because it's yours. When it's yours, it's some special rasa. So the elderly gopis, they thought, I wish Krishna is my son. So Krishna fulfilled this desire for 1 year. Actually, gopis gave a breast milk. Even they were stopping giving breast milk, but because of the affection towards these children, because that was actually Krishna, they started giving milk again. And the cows also. So they said when cows will see the calves, they will run from the Govardhan. Big stampede, Wow. And everybody's like, what's going on? They never did this before. Everybody was surprised a little bit, but, in the Krishna's bewilderment, we know in Vrindavan, they don't exactly know what's going on. Madhya Yashoda, when Nanda Maharaj was talking to Garga Muni about, he said, your son is a great personality. So Nanda was talking later on, he might be some great demigod. We don't know. We don't know exactly, but he might be something, important. So all the cowherd men was like, very important, people discussing these topics. So, so what's going on? He fulfilled this desire. Then he wanted to bewilder Lord Brahma, but not just to bewilder him, but it says to put him in the ocean of dismay. Ocean of dismay means in English total bewilderment. So Brahma was completely confused. At the end, we will see. The Brahma said, I'm not sure now, did I actually steal those boys or did I not steal those boys? I will just go to this. And then Krishna also wanted to reward Brahma, to show him not only one worshipable Lord, because as we know, we all have, every person, we spoke this in the very first lecture of the form of the Lord, that every person according to our nature, Prabhupada says, the soul is attracted to a particular form of the Lord according to soul's nature. So we all have particular attraction. Somebody loves Nrsimhadev. Somebody loves Radha and Krishna. Somebody likes only Krishna. Somebody likes only Radha. Somebody different attractions. And Lord Brahma had this attraction to this Vishnu form, 4 arms form. So Krishna said, okay, you like this form? I'll show you not one, I'll show you hundreds of them at the same time. Because later on when Brahma realized that these are boys actually Krishna revealed these forms and Brahma was like, oops. Suddenly so many lords and he was like very confused about this. So this is also Krishna, as Prabhupada says. If Krishna wants to give you something, you don't have enough hands to take it. And if Krishna wants to take something from you, you have not enough hands to protect it. So Krishna wants to give you himself, take hundreds of it, of me. Brahma was, imagine suddenly there's 1,000 Nrsimhadevs here, everywhere. We're like, oh, what would we do? What would we do? Oh my God, That would be nice, but confusing. So this is what's going on. Meanwhile, Krishna bewildered boys, so they will be sleeping for 1 year. Why? Because the boys without Krishna will feel great separation. And they will not tolerate this. And Krishna will not be able to tolerate it. So Krishna said, let them sleep for 1 year, and then so I can do all these things, Because if we let them be somewhere else, they will think of all Krishna. They will, 1 year without Krishna is impossible. It's impossible. So Krishna made all these wonderful arrangements, and so he expanded himself into every little boy for 1 consecutive year, 1 year. What's going on here now? Then when Brahma returned and he saw all these boys and he was also bewildered, and he realized this is Krishna, and Krishna showed all these amazing forms, and Lord Brahma immediately offered his obeisances. So what is here? Brahma was confused. So he thought like this. There's the 2 groups of boys now. The one I stole and the one Krishna showed me. But the question is, which one is real? So he was thinking, the ones that I bewildered who are sleeping, are they the real ones? Something created by Krishna? He was not sure now. Did I stole the right set of boys? He was thinking about this. Then he says, or are the real ones the ones who play in the distance? Who are playing the real ones? So he thought, did Krishna, look at this now, logic. Did Krishna create these boys for me to be bewildered by them, that I think that I stole them, and the real boys are actually the ones who I think he created, but actually they are the real boys. So Brahma was, it's a big confusion. And he said, or maybe there's something new. Krishna created these boys and gave me these fake boys while he took the real boys and put them in the other universe. Because Brahma knows the power of mystic powers, So he knows that Krishna is capable of doing anything. So he can take these boys, put them in the other universe. Meanwhile, while the pastime is going on, then he bring him back. This is like amazing power. Amazing Krishna's power, actually. Anyway, so he was... there's another option. Brahma was also more confused. So Brahma said, let it be. In any case, I'm looking at two different groups of different places at the same time. Seeing these boys in both places, I am confused. So whatever the story is, I don't know what is going on. So then Krishna revealed these wonderful forms of Vishnu. And then how would Brahma know? This is another very small but important detail. How would Brahma know that these actually Vishnu forms? Is that every Vishnu form had Kaustuba gem and Srivatsa. And we know that devotees who achieved the Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti means exactly the same form of the Lord. We are speaking about this in the Briha Bhagavatamrita, and Gopakumar went and he saw one person worshipped by many, and he thought, this is Lord, because 4 arms. And he went to him and offered obeisance, and this person said, no, I'm actually a devotee, I just have this form, Sarupya Mukti. But, so how do you recognize devotee who is in Sarupya Mukti and the Lord? They have exactly the same features. Krishna has Srivatsa, this is a little bunch of hair in his chest. So if you see a person in your dream speaking to you at 4 arms, just look if there's a bunch of hair, then you will know this is actually Krishna. If not, then maybe some great devotee of the Lord. And also he has a Kaustuba gem, and usually Vaijayanti garland. So we know this is, Krishna, for sure. The one another thing is all these forms of Krishna, when Brahma saw, they had a full opulence. They displayed full opulence of the Lord. And Brahma was bewildered. Imagine seeing thousands of forms and all of them display the full opulence at the same time. It's very, very amazing sight, first of all, but very, very confusing. Then, after this, Brahma awoke from these visions, amazing vision he had. And then it says his external consciousness returned. And he stood just like a dead man coming back to life. He was like, oh man, what was that? What was that? He said, opening his eyes with great difficulty, he saw the universe along with himself. From another bewilderment, he saw another bewilderment. He saw universe and himself in the universe. Just like we spoke about baby Krishna. And the little baby was yawning with a little mouth. And then Madhya Yashoda looked, and inside she saw the whole universe. She thought, this is my child must be diseased. This is disease. So Brahma saw this amazing scene, and he was wondering what's going on. Then he said, Brahma started looking in all directions. What's going on? Then he saw Vrindavan Dham filled with trees. So he was thinking, okay, at least now I can understand this, So immediately Lord Brahma came down, meaning that they came to this reality of Vrindavan Dham. So Brahma came out of his swan carrier and offered obeisances with the four heads and offer very, very wonderful prayers and beg for forgiveness because, he created in his mind disturbance. But of course, for us, this is this display of Krishna's wonderful powers. And also Krishna, as we said here, about the form, which is unexpected, created on the spot. All these boys, we created so quick. So Krishna, this is yet another meditation of the Krishna's form. So Brahma came and offered obeisances, and once he offered obeisances, he became ecstatic, as devotees always do when they see Krishna. And he started offering obeisances, he stood up, offering obeisances, stood up, offering obeisances. We see it also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, different devotees, they saw Krishna, they offer obeisances, they said repeated obeisances. So offering obeisances, get up, offering obeisances, get up. In our Acharya, Raghunadas Goswami was doing this 1,000 times. Offering obeisances, getting up, offering obeisances. This was his daily sadhana. Anyways, so Then Brahma, rising very gradually and wiping his 2 eyes from the tears, he looked at Krishna. His head, Brahma's head, bent low, his mind concentrated and his body trembling, very humbly, began with faltering voice to offer prayers to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Turn off. Then turn on. Turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it on. Because I want to separate. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
He's not. Mansuka Prabhu, vielleicht kann man ein bisschen leise machen. He is not represented as a Vaishnava. He's not introduced as a Vaishnava. He's introduced more as a demigod. Of course, demigods are also devotees, but those qualities of a Vaishnava, that he's compassionate and he wants to give Krishna consciousness to everyone, are not so much stressed or again introduced in the scriptures, like when we are talking about Narada Muni or about our Guru Parampara and so on. So do you have any thoughts on this?
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, whenever there's a problem, whenever there's this disturbance in the universe, who is going to petition Lord Vishnu? Brahma. The others cannot petition Vishnu. Meaning the Brahma is so close to Vishnu that he can actually personally go and ask him. Before Krishna appeared in this Lila as Krishna, who actually went to ocean of milk and begged to come to who? Lord Brahma. Because only Lord Brahma can do this. So Lord Brahma is a very extraordinary person, very, very dear to Krishna. And so, as such, very compassionate. And so much so that his actually greatest devotee is described in a book called Brahma Samhita. If you read Brahma Samhita, I actually read the introduction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati yesterday. And it's amazing. The Brahma wrote this because he had actually a direct vision of Krishna. So it is not that he's a bewildered person. Brahma is the highest devotee, you can say, the topmost devotee, and therefore as such qualified to be the head of our sampradaya. And maybe not in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but offering obeisance to the Lord, having darshan of the Lord. Is this not a devotee? You know. On whom? We have Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. You have Vyasadeva as devotee. We don't see Vyasadeva is sitting next to Krishna and Vyasadeva is writing books about Krishna. Very important books. Very important. These are such great personalities that actually imagine how responsible you have to be. Your book will be read by millions and millions and millions of souls in the next millions of years. So what kind of responsible and Krishna conscious person you have to be to write such a book? So this is a great devotee. So Lord Brahma is a very great devotee. And I don't see why he's the head of our sampradaya. I just don't really, maybe I don't understand what you like to say. He's the head of our sampradaya. He's very close to Krishna. He saw Krishna, the darshan of Krishna. Yes.
One may argue, as Prabhu indicated, that Narada Muni, he's always coming in the body. Yeah. Who is the guru of Narada Muni? That is also
yes, so who is the Guru Narada Muni? And who is the, of all these people, who is the, whenever, in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Priyavrata, Narada was doing austerities with Priyavrata in the mountains, very nice. And everybody says, you should do this service. And he said, no. So when Brahma comes, he said, okay, no problem, because Brahma is the boss, he's the, huh? No, Narada Muni was sitting with Priyavrata in the mountains. So when Brahma came, everybody offering obeisances, because Brahma is the guru of the gurus, especially for our sampradaya. By reading, I don't know what would you, I don't understand, first of all, but is the head of the sampradaya. No, because he's the head of sampradaya, so he should be more prominent in the Bhagavatam. This is kind of like this, isn't it? Because Narada Muni plays different role. Lord Brahma plays different role. Again, whenever there's a problem, Brahma is there. Narada Muni doesn't go to the ocean of milk and beg Vishnu. Vishnu will not come. He comes from the Brahma. We all have, Prabhupada says that demigods are posts in this material world. So each post has a different, activity. So Brahma is the guru, he creates the world, and there's a need, some problem, he's there. This is his service, you can say. Narada Muni is service to travel with Veena, I'm traveling, how's it going? And then you go to Mrigari forest, and they go a little bit there, Parmata Muni a little bit, hitchhiking through the universe, But Brahma has a different post and different service. Yes. This I don't. You see, this is again, nobody knows that, because this is described different. This is Srimad Bhagavatam is described different kalpas, and sometimes it's this. Prabhupada said himself. Sometimes this is a story from another kalpa. Sometimes a story from this kalpa. Sometimes the stories from different kalpas are mixing. But what is important for us is to know that Brahma is the head of our sampradaya, and as such is worshipable, and as such he is a immediate, you can say, guru of Narada and Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna. Point. No more discussion. Brahma is Brahma. He's our head of our sampradaya. We have a Prabhupada. For us, Prabhupada is like a immovable pillar, in ISKCON. That's Prabhupada, and nobody moves. No, that's it. It's a Prabhupada. But imagine we have Brahma, which is even bigger pillar, immovable pillar. He invented the sampradaya. That's something, Finished. No. Anything else, or should we? Yeah. It's 9:05, just for information. Maybe just speak. Maybe just forget about this. Just speak. We don't have time. Just leave it. Manzuka, Prabhu, just leave it now. And yet he wrote the Brahma Samhita, which we are reading regularly. We're reading regularly Brahma Samhita, every installation, every important thing. Huh? Exactly. What are we singing? Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dala. This is a Brahma's verses. So maybe there's some significance to Lord Brahma also. No, meaning not significance. Maybe there's some involvement in Brahma in our lives also. Like Venum Kvananta, we read all these verses. Ultimately, Srimad Bhagavatam is expansions of the Chatushloki of spoken from Krishna to Brahma. So when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, it's actually reading expansions of the knowledge taught to Lord Brahma. So we are very much connected to Brahma. defending Brahma here. With, Anything else? Or should we just take some wonderful prasadam on flowers and leaves? And Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jaya, Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Actually, this was Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jaya. Flowers.